Would help if I get a mic. All right. Welcome once again to another episode of Sports Therapy with FH Jr. I am your host. Now, let me go over the rules for the rule breakers on Sports Therapy with FH Jr. We do not talk politics. We don't give a fat rat's butt what the Democrats are doing, nor do we care what the Republicans are doing. Yes, we don't talk race relations, nor do we talk sexual orientations. All are welcome to participate and listen to the show. Now, once again, I am your host, F.H. Jr., and for the record, Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr., we are not we don't give medical advice. We just here for fun and yucks. The layout of the show is that callers, you will have 2 minutes to call in. You can rip, rant, kick knowledge, laugh, or throw rocks or whatever's in your heart. Because the show is all about fun and yucks. Now, we always talk about the NFL and NFL games only. And our sponsor is always Crown Royal. That is my drink. And if you if you drink Crown Royal, remember, always drink Crown Royal responsibly. Now, I'm always dressed in the standard uniform, augmented by the commander hat, followed by the cool beard. Now, I think that's going to wrap it and cap it and get everything in place as we move on and discuss the playoffs. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. The playoffs. Wow. Now, also, Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr., we are streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. And you can follow me on Instagram at Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr. Man, I wouldn't have it any other way. Sports Therapy with F.H. Jr. So, about the show. What can I say, man? I just got through watching. Oh man, I watched some games today, man. I watched the Eagles. The high flying Eagles took on the 49ers, and we had some Cowboy news, so I might get to hear from my Cowboy fans. I just heard a rumor that the Cowboys fired their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. So we may get a chance to talk about that a little bit more. Might get to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of the Ravens, what they're going to do about their quarterback, and why are no brothers? Why are no brothers getting some of these head coaching jobs? So we just might touch on, we don't talk race relations. But as my grandma used to say, if there's a skunk and you smell him, it must be a reason. So we got a lot of things going on. But first, I want to jump in and hold on. Let me see what we got here. I want to jump in and talk about the first game of the day. That was Eagles 49ers. Now, it's hard for me to decide where I fall in this thing because the Eagles represent the NFC East, along with the Cowboys, the Giants. And there is a brotherhood, except for when we play each other. When we play each other, there is true hatred. But there is an NFC East brotherhood. And I'm on the fence because I will tell people, it would be hard for me to cheer for the Cowboys. Never done it in my life. But if the Cowboys if they had happened to make it to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to lie. No, I would not cheer for the Cowboys. No. So, where did I fall in this in the game between the Eagles and... Hold on. Where did I fall in this game between the Eagles and the 49ers? I'm not going to lie. I was cheering for the 49ers, but hold on. Let's see what we got here. Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr.
Hello?
Hey, Jay, what's going on?
Hey.
Jay, let me start off. See, I got a standard question that I'm asking all my callers. You know what my standard question is going to be for everybody? It's almost like a end of the year sports therapy with FH Junior finals, college finals. And my question to you, Jay, is with the two teams standing, we got the high flying Eagles. I want to fly like an eagle. Let my spirits carry me. And when you're in charge, they call you chief. So we got the Eagles and we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Jay, who you got and why?
I'm gonna go for the Chiefs. I want to see Mahomes get another ring. And he's young. I know Jalen young too, but I'm gonna go for the Chiefs.
All right, so you're going to go for the Chiefs. Watch the game, Jay. You know what? I was pulling for the Chiefs as well because for some strange reason the Cincinnati Bengals they seem to have the Chiefs number. Mahomes was playing on a bad wheel. Of course, you know the game was decided. It was 2020 going into the last. Oh man, within the fourth quarter, last 30 minutes, and the Chiefs managed to win the game on a field goal. Did you see the fact that if it wasn't for a boneheaded play by one of the guys on defense who managed to hit, why would you hit the quarterback? He's running. He's got a bum ankle. And you decide to hit this guy. He's out of bounds. And the result was a 15-yard penalty, which led to the final field goal. Did you see that play?
I saw it.
Did you see the guy? Now, look, now, this show is sports therapy with FH Junior. Now, hold on. In fact, if you want to call and you're listening and you just out here want to know what the hell am I listening to, this is Sports Therapy with FH Junior. And the number to call if you want to be a live guest, it is 940-329-4110. That is 940-329-4110. Jay, the reason I'm asking you that question because, Jay, I just happened to see some tears on the line. The defensive guy that did you see him crying? Or was it me?
Yeah, sir. No, sir. I think he realized that he caused his team to, the Super Bowl. And for the Super Bowl. And when you make mistakes sometimes, the consequences don't hit you until later on sometimes. So I think that's what it is. I think he was in the moment and doing the game.
I mean, it was a costly penalty.
For the Bengals.
Oh yeah, it was costly penalty. Now, Jay, did you watch a little bit of the 49er and the Eagles? The poor 49. Now, like I said, I was telling people the Eagles play in our division, but I was going for the 49ers, but they lost the starting quarterback, the rookie. Then they brought in the backup to the backup because the rookie was the backup. So they brought in the backup to the backup, and even he got knocked out the game with a concussion. So they had no quarterback. I don't know what the hell they were doing. I thought they were gonna call me, but I fell off the couch and got a concussion. I fell out my chair, and I was in concussion protocol, so even I couldn't go in quarterback for the 49ers. It was a sad show. Sad show. It was truly. Oh yeah, it was a good game. All the Eagles had to do was hold on and not do anything crazy. All they had to do was hold on. All they had to do, Jay, is...
And they did. Just
did. They did. That's all they had to do. No, Jalen didn't throw an interception. He didn't do anything crazy. All he had to do was drive the bus. So that brings me back to a question I'm going to ask some of my everybody who call, because teams may take a look at how the Eagles formed their team and say, you know what?
Yeah.
Do we need to spend money on these big contracts for these quarterbacks when they get hurt and all the money is spent on the offensive side of the ball? we don't even have quality backups. It's just something to think about. Maybe we could build our team like the Eagles.
True.
Just something to think about, Jay. But you are rolling with the Chiefs, right?
I am.
Mm-mm. So when you're in charge, they they call you Chief. Well, Jay, I appreciate you calling in, and good luck. Now, I want you and everybody to know that next Sunday will not be a live show because there's no game next Sunday. Because everybody's getting ready for the Super Bowl, so we're gonna be like on a mini vacation, and then we'll come back right after the Super Bowl. In fact, we'll be right after the Super Bowl, so that's gonna be very exciting. So, Jay, appreciate you calling, and hey, thanks. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Sports therapy with F.A. Jr.
My brother, it's the Ravens extraordinaire, Brandon Cooper. How you doing, man?
What you say, bro, Coop?
Man, where should I begin? Number one, I would like to say that congrats to the two black quarterbacks, man, for making it to the Super Bowl, man. Congrats to the Philadelphia Eagles, and congrats to the Kansas City Chiefs. I would also say salute to the Niners, man, and salute to the Bengals. I feel like all four teams were the best teams, that could possibly be in this game.
I agree.
I'll give them that.
I will agree.
Now, without further ado, man, let's get this straight. Number one, the first game, I do say that you got everything figured out but the quarterback situation if you're the Niners.
Yes.
You lost this game because of inconsistent quarterback play.
Or no.
And that's big.
Or no quarterback play.
Or no quarterback play. And it's tough, right? Because when you look at the situation, like what you and I were talking about, this might redefine.
Yes.
This might actually redefine, how we look at football teams, right? Because what if the quarterback is the lowest paid player on your team, right? Or at least on the offensive starting.
Okay.
So the question also remains, now look at your quarterback office. You have three quarterbacks that are the starting quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Your highest paid quarterback is an unproven rookie. And that's just because he's on a rookie first-round draft pick deal. Brock Purdy, they already said going into next season, Brock Purdy is the starter, dude.
He's the man.
Now with Jimmy G, what is Jimmy G going to do? So you're going to send two quarterbacks out, right? You got one quarterback who's Jimmy G, who's always going to be a filler, but he's a great filler. You got somebody in Brock Purdy who, hey, man, you got to roll with the hot hand, and he's there. He's the most cost-efficient. And then Trey Lance is the less proven. So it's like, what are you technically going to get from him, right?
Right.
I would also say that the Eagles, they just executed and capitalized better. Now, I would say no team of the four today that played were completely flawless. But I would argue that each team brought something new to the table. And if you look at the Eagles and the Niners, that game was over. It was tight. It was 7-0 up until Brock Purdy got injured. And then, the biggest drop-offs in sports is that starting QB to the next. But salute to Jalen Hurts. Salute to the whole Eagles organization. They are showing y'all that we can rebuild, and that last Super Bowl was not a fluke, right?
Yes.
And it also backs that y'all division, as it stands, is the best division in football.
NFC
it also does
East.
prove that.
The NFC Beast is back.
Even though y'all should have 4 teams making it to the playoffs, but that's not here nor there, right? We don't speak on what we can't control, right?
No, we can't.
So, moving on to the next game, that game was crazy. So, I'm not gonna say the refs caused that game to swing either way, I'll start off by saying
Bro,
there
bro,
were
bro, bro,
ample chances.
brother Coop, let me jump in and say this first.
Here we go. We know Commanders fans and the rest.
Which team do you think that the networks out of the Cincinnati or the Chiefs? Which teams?
I mean, of course, but check this out.
Because
right?
there was a couple calls. There were a call or two in there that to me is almost like, okay, we kind of want these Chiefs to kind of pull this thing out because that pass interference.
I'll say this, man. The Chiefs are going to bring in more money.
Yes.
And you can play up marketing-wise that the Kelsey brothers are in the Super Bowl.
True that.
And also, when you look at the Vegas betting odds, Pat Mahomes winning the Super Bowl MVP, and regular season MVP. You know, that's good for money. That's good for marketing, and you're also getting the Midwest team. You know what I'm saying, in there, right?
Yes,
Pat Mahomes, good for facing, good for the league. And you kind of got different duality, right? You got Pat Mahomes, who's more out of there, you know, personable, all that stuff. And then you got somebody like Jalen Hurts, who's all about that business. So it creates for a good underdog story. And then both of those guys finished, 1 and 2 in MVP voting.
Yes.
And you can argue that Jalen Hurts would have won MVP if he didn't miss that time with his shoulder. So I would say, man, let's just look at this.
Okay.
And this is my quote of the day.
All right.
One team had Eli Apple playing for him, and the other team didn't.
Yeah.
Because that man had about 4 pass interference calls. I'm like, how does this man keep getting the job?
Yeah, because
and when you look at the little things, it was just the little penalties, and that was also the first time I've seen where it was a clock malfunction, and you have to replay that down.
God,
now legally that's what's in the rule book,
right?
But we've never seen that actually play out. You know what I'm saying?
Now they showed a closed caption of before the play was ran. The referee tried to come out and stop the play prior to bring attention to that was a clock malfunction. It did look kind of weird, you know what I mean? But it gave the Chiefs a second bite off the apple. I must admit that.
It did. And then, and then the ever popular, which everyone's going to talk about, that late hit call by that linebacker, 58, which he almost tore his ACL too.
True.
But that late hit call on Pat Mahomes, that's what they're going to say.
And
that's
you know that Pat Mahomes, my homie, my homie is going to get that call. And that call was a deciding call that decided the game because just him running and picking up the first down, it would have been like, I don't know, maybe a 55-yard field goal. But the extra 15-yard that was tacked on, man, hell, I probably could have kicked it.
That's what I'm saying. That's tough, my man. That's tough, man. So that's it. Football is a game of inches, and that's what it came down to. So that's what a lot of people are going to say.
Now, let me take you back.
Right?
Let me take you back to something that you were talking about, and I want to expand on it a little bit. I'm looking at the Eagles and how their team is built, and you said something very important. Maybe because sometimes we get so caught up in the way things are that we just kind of like, we get so caught up, we realize change happens right before our eyes because we all think of, when we think of NFL teams, we think about, everything, the sun rises and sets based on the quarterback. But if you take a look at how the Eagles team has been built, yeah, Jalen is time. He'll probably get a lot of money, but you know they may go back and say, you know what? Because of the two teams that was playing, Brandon, they had a lot of things in common. Both teams had two what I consider two top notch wide receivers. They both had a hellified defense, and I'm going somewhere to say, you know what, maybe teams may look at it and say, you know what, maybe we don't need all our money wrapped up in one position, i.e., the quarterback. And if we don't do that, give us a outstanding defense, and with some toys, because we always say that's what the Ravens need. With some toys,
Hey man,
and look, we can get the job done without spending a lot of money on these quarterbacks. Just saying, brother. Just saying.
man, you can go that route, but it's very risky. It's very risky because you better have a damn good team outside of there. You're eventually gonna have to face a quarterback where that in the second half is gonna come down to situational football, and is your quarterback making more plays than the other team's quarterback?
Now,
Because Pat Mahomes
he made
making
plays. He made plays.
it covers up their deficiencies with not having a run game.
They didn't have a run game. They had hell. As you can see, a lot of their starting receivers were injured. So he made a lot of plays and he was on a bum ankle. He's on a bum ankle. So I'm just saying, just to kind of throw that out there, because to me, if I compare, because I hear people, they've been ragging on Dak all week and saying, well, Dak's not now I still say he's a top 10 quarterback. He's not the top 4. He's not that. But you can win with Dak. And hell, you can probably win a Super Bowl with him. But he cannot just carry a team like, say, Mahomes and Joe Burrow and guys like that. That's my take on that.
I mean, that's fair. But what happens? What happens with Dak when it comes down to opportunities where you need your quarterback to be a B plus player and not just the average B player? Does he come through?
Now he didn't. But now let me ask you this question, because we were roasting Dak. I mean, just roasting him. I had him on the barbecue grill,
Oh,
flipping him over. But I'm saying this because remember today's game when Mahomes fumbled on his own 40. That resulted in
that was piss poor. That was piss poor.
yes. Yes. Now, how quickly we forget that?
I'm always with the mantra that winning cures all.
He damn sure
we
does.
Definitely saw. But we damn sure saw my homeboy fumble that ball. I'm not even mad about. I'm not even gonna tell you that didn't happen. But what did I tell you, bro? You can have quarterbacks that are good enough to make up for the holes and everything else.
Yes, because they don't have a great defense like the Ravens, like the Cowboys. Kansas City doesn't have that. What they like on the defensive side, it is made up by the fact that you've got a quarterback that can actually carry the team.
I mean, but just think about it, man. If other players make those same mistakes, does that team come back? No.
No, they don't.
So the thing is, it's just like Joe Burrow. His good play makes up for that team's lack of having an offensive line.
I agree.
If Trevor Lawrence's good play makes up for the team's lack of experience. Lamar, his play makes up for the team's lack of just offensive talent. Because I would just like y'all team, bro. Y'all team. The crazy thing about y'all team is y'all are B average, like B plus across the board. Y'all just the best part of y'all team is either your wide receiving core or your defensive line. Y'all just need a quarterback. Like, can he excel at something?
To me, we needed number one, that whole Wentz experiment was garbage. Second to me was our offensive coordinator and play calling. It because there were some things, man, that throughout the season where there would be, we're on our own, maybe on the 45, 50, and it's freaking third down and one, and you got the running backs that are getting lathered up. All you got to do is hand the ball, pick up the first down. That idiot would throw the ball, not make it, and that kills the drive. It's like, and that was the whole season of that, and that's why he's not there. It was play calling, because sometimes it makes a difference whether your defense stays out there, lose it, you spend a lot of energy. It's play calling, play calling, play calling, play calling. It's just like with the Ravens. For the life of me, I don't understand why they're playing reindeer games with Lamar Jackson. I don't understand that.
My brother, I wish I could tell you, but I'm starting to just accept the fact, man, that's it. Like that's it. Like, and let this be a lesson to the rest of the league. Re-sign your quarterbacks early.
Or
that's it.
But
re-sign your quarterback early, or if they want out, trade them before they think they want out. But if you try to play a cat and game with somebody like Lamar, that's it. Your game over. Your franchise is done.
Well, only thing to me, it's like, okay, when you get the dual threat quarterback, you want to, and that's just my perspective. It's almost like the owners want to use that person for all his athletic ability in that small window that he's going to be that great. Let's use him up. Especially since we have him on that rookie contract, and let him walk. Basically, franchise him put the franchise tag on him for a couple of years, get 2 more years out of him without being locked in long term, and then let him walk or get injured. And that's how I see it.
Like I said, man, learn from the Ravens' mistakes. I mean, we have a generational talent with the MVP at quarterback that we just refuse to build around, and that we're just going to let go, and that we're just going to lowball. And then at the same time, make a linebacker who we didn't have to make him the highest paid player. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because one of the things that Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson coach did for him in college was that, and that was, I don't think of his name, Bobby Petrino. And Petrino told him, he says, hey, guy, everybody got the ability, he said, if you want to have a long career in the NFL, he taught him first to run to throw the ball, run and throw, always look. So he knew when Lamar would go to the next level, he needed to be able to pass, have a pass first mentality. Yeah, you have all that running ability. And and that's what he worked with. He prepared him to go to the NFL. And but like I said, man, I don't know why you guys are playing such reindeer games with this guy, man. I have no idea, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, man, congrats to the 4 teams that played today. Congrats to the 2 brothers that are going to play in the Super Bowl. I would have to argue my Super Bowl prediction.
But I will tell you what I believe, that if Brock Purdy had not gotten injured, I think the 49ers would have won today, because
they would have.
Because even though they had no quarterback, that game was still in reach until the backup Johnson came in and self-destructed and fumbled the ball on, I believe they were on their own 30-yard line, which led to a Eagles touchdown. And that lead was too insurmountable for them to come back without a actual quarterback. Now, being down by 7, I think their defense would have been able to possibly score, but it's when they went down by 2 touchdowns, and it's like, okay, boom, But I just think if they still, because even when they brought Purdy back in, everybody knew he couldn't throw the ball. He could not throw the ball. He was just handing it off.
No, it was done.
He was sitting duck.
It was done.
It was done, and you know, and to a man, you know that you can't win, and the other team is rubbing your face in it. That will lead to someone wanting to fight, and I think you know where I'm going with this, because did you see the incident where I think my man Trent Williams slammed one of the
that man Trent Williams was over here throwing dudes. I said, "Hey man, yo."
But at what
grown man strength?
But at what point? Yeah, it was. But at what point do you know that, okay, if you're the Eagles, you've got this game wrapped up because you're in the fourth quarter and you're killing these guys. At some point, you take out your starters and say, you know what? Hey, they can't come back because they don't have a quarterback. There's only about 5 minutes left. Hey, you know what? Let's just take our guys out. Let's put in the cheerleaders, the people who, the water boy, and let's put those people in. But it's like when you, and I know Philadelphia, man, and the Eagles left their starters out there, and they were making them, they were making them like that butt whooping that they were getting.
Hey man, it's not a good sight to see.
Not at all.
But like when you're the Niners, at that point you just start any little thing just gonna piss you off.
Yeah.
The way that season going.
Yeah.
When you go through your starting 3 quarterbacks, you're just like, all right, man, it wasn't our year.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you that you're a hell of a team that you can do that through all that adversity.
But it also shows you that you are a quarterback or one specific major injury away from your whole season being practically over.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Hey man, yeah, that's it. Like whatever I told you, the biggest drop off in sports is QB1 to QB2.
Yeah,
that changes the dynamic of games, seasons, coaching staffs, all that.
Yeah, because, and see, that's why when I was bringing it up, that teams may look at the Philadelphia model, because truth be told, the Philadelphia model is nothing but a rebranding of the Ravens model. Because there's 2 ways to win a Super Bowl. You win it with a defensive-led team, or you win it with a team that has a traditional team, quarterback-centered, offense-centered, because there is no data that indicates one is better than the other. Because if you get a team with a lights-out defense like the Ravens had, the Bears had before them, the Giants had when they won their Super Bowls, to where, hey, man, just give me a bus driver. Give me a bus. Don't lose the game for us. And so when you look at the Eagles model, not saying Jalen can't throw the ball because he can, but he's not that, if you take Jalen's toys away from him, I don't think he would be a Patrick Mahomes, Now he's
No, not at all.
No, it's that system he's playing in, but the fact that, because the Eagles' defense, their defense is tough. Their defense.
The Eagles defense is great. One of the only problems they've had is really just defending that run, but they've gotten better.
Well, they went and picked up. They went and picked up Ndamukong Suh, And
Jordan Davis in the draft.
yeah, they went and got some guys to anchor that defense because we ran over them, and then they made some adjustments, and that's what you do at that level, you know.
I mean, that's what makes teams great is the adjustments they make, and then other teams fail to make, which is you realize your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, yep. That's what you do at that level, brother. That is what you do because, like I say, man, the Eagles started at the beginning of the year and they set the tone that, hey, we are an offensive explosive team. We have a hellified defense, and you know what? We're here to stay. See, you know what, Brandon? I tell people, and I talk about windows, and I tell people that when you are a good team, i.e. the Cowboys, 49ers, or whatever, I say, hey, look, you get maybe a 4-year window to get it done. Now, to me, that window is closed on the Cowboys. The Eagles, the window is open for them. It's just now being open. Now, for some of these teams, now, for example, when the window is open, you're not the only team that has that 4-year because you usually have a few more teams that are good with you. You guys have to get it done because within that window, that's your opportunity. You usually have your salary cap the way it is. You don't have to pay a lot of players. Everybody, everybody's getting along. The locker room is good. Everything is great. But you have that 3 to 4 year window to get it done. And if you don't get it done within that time frame, now you run into guys getting older. Guys are not on that rookie contract anymore. You know what I mean? All of a sudden,
that's just like what the Chiefs, and that's what the Chiefs ran into.
Yep.
It was all good until players wanted their money.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the Chiefs were able to, of course, they had to cut ties with Tyrann Mathieu and Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
But the good thing is Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid are good enough to bounce back. But when you look at teams like Cincinnati, that's going to be tough, man, because Burrow's going to want his money. Hurst going to want his money. Mixon going to want his money. LP Ryan could be a starting running back somewhere else. Then you got 3 receivers who could be number one receivers.
Yes, and it goes back to what I'm telling you. All those teams that window is open for them at various times. For example, the Chiefs, they have been there for about 3 or 4 years. If this is going to be their last run at winning another Super Bowl, if they don't get it done this year, it ain't happening. What you end up with is a real good quarterback, but you won't have the finances. The veteran players are moving on, Yeah, they will always be a good team, but for that window to win the Super Bowl and get it done, because right now the Eagles, that window is just opening up for them. Now the team,
it's open. Open until that quarterback wants his money.
Yes, you have to get it done. It's just like when Michael Jordan was playing. There were a lot of teams that was good, but hey, you have to get it done. This is your window. And there are going to be some people standing in your way because you're not the only one that want that Super Bowl ring, brother. So I'm telling you, man, that's that in a nutshell, brother. And I just believe that when that window opens up, that's why the Cowboys, I just think it's close. They're going to have to do some type of rebuilding. They don't, people don't want to use the R word, but right now they got to pay all those guys on defense. Everybody's doing the blame. They'll question whether Dak has the ability to even get it done as a quarterback. Yeah, you can win a Super Bowl with Dak, but I just think that window for getting it done it's closed on the Cowboys. I just don't see it happening because you have the other teams are starting to come up. You got the Eagles, you got the The Commanders are starting. The Giants are starting, and they're just now starting to enter into that window to get it done. So it's it is what it is. But my brother, appreciate you calling. Love talking to you. You bring a lot of insight, man. Let's get a plug for what you do, man.
Yes, sir. This is your
But
boy
before
Brandon
you
Cooper
go,
from Grand Prairie.
Brandon, let me
Yep.
ask you this: who's your team to win the Super Bowl, brother?
Win the Super Bowl. I got the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP.
All right, go for it, brother.
Yes, sir. It's your boy Brandon Cooper from Grand Prairie, Texas. Ravens extraordinaire. Please don't make fun of my team. Lamar may be coming to a city near you. Man, check out my boys and I on the D1 Ignite University podcast. We're on Spotify podcast, Apple podcast, the Anchor app. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's D1 IGNANT University. Check us out, man. Like I said, I got the Chiefs winning this one, man. Pat Mahomes is on the roll. And the man can't be stopped from what we can see.
All right, my brother. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Discover Crown Royal Blended Canadian Whiskey. Patiently fit for a king. Expertly blended since 1939. After a hard day of crime fighting. I always reach for a bottle of Crown Royal. You know what I say? I say crown me, baby. Drink Crown Royal responsibly. Always drink Crown Royal responsibly. All right. Now, that is our brother Brandon Cooper. Appreciate him. Now, let me fire up another call. See what we got here. Sports Therapy with F.A. Jr.
What's going on? What's going on, my brother?
It is my homeboy, Glenn.
What's going on with you, man?
What say ye?
Hard at it all day.
What say ye,
Been
man?
working all day.
Hey, man.
Just chilling, man. Isn't it?
When all my callers call in,
birthday.
Glenn, when all my callers call in, I ask them one question, brother. Who you rolling with? We down to 2 teams, bro. Who you rolling with? You can't ride the fence. Can't be a fence rider.
I've been telling y'all before the season started, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan.
You have.
Ain't no need to y'all jumping on this bandwagon now.
Hey, man, slow the bandwagon down so we all can jump on.
They no need to jumping on Jalen. I was telling y'all that when the boy was in college, that he was coming. That boy is a winner. They gonna whoop. If the referees let him play, they gonna whoop. They gonna whoop the Chiefs' ass. They gonna whoop the Chiefs' ass just like they did. Hey, I was telling people, Jalen Hurts is a winner, man. Very few people got it. Tom Brady. I'm talking about, like in basketball, you got
right.
Jordan, LeBron.
Yes.
In football, you got Tom Brady. You might well say Tom Brady, because he's the only one been winning the last few years, all the Super Bowls mostly. But Jalen Hurts is a winner, man. People always talk about Josh Allen, different one, but that boy right up there with the best of them.
It seems like he is a leader of men, and everybody can't do that.
That's what he is. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because I tell people this: if Jalen Hurts were playing with the Cowboys probably would have been playing in the NFC Championship game.
He
don't make no mistakes.
He's not gonna make any mistakes. He's not gonna beat you.
He's not gonna beat you.
You gotta beat him.
Look at his stats today. He didn't throw for but 121 yards, but he didn't throw for 10 incompletions. No interception, no fumbles.
Yeah, but
big games like this, that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, but he's the maestro though, boy. He was playing that good music though. he's a band director, man.
That's right. He's a hell of a band director. He's a hell of a band director. And they're gonna take care of the Chiefs.
He's a band director, man.
They're gonna take care of the Chiefs. Yeah.
See, there's a difference between a bus driver and a band director. A bus driver, you just want him to just drive the bus, open the door, let the kids in, take your route. Don't do that crazy. But when you the band director, man, you got to make sure everybody is singing and playing the same song, baby. Everybody's, you got to make sure when the horn you get it, make sure your horns come in. You got your drummers, you got the drum. You got to make sure everybody's is playing the same sweet music. You're the band director, baby.
And that's what he is. He's a hell of a band director.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts was playing with, I could see about 7 teams. If he was playing with the Colts, Colts got a hell of a team. They're a quarterback away. If he was playing with somebody like them, he'll lead them deep in the playoff run.
Yeah.
Because like you said a while ago, he's a leader of men. Everybody, it's not how good you are. A lot of talent do make a lot of difference, but that leadership plays a big part too.
Oh yeah.
And he's a hell of a leader, man.
Yeah.
And he's a quiet leader. He's not one American leader. His game speaks for itself.
Yes.
This man rushed for 15 touchdowns this year. That's unheard of for a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rushing the football.
Well,
even with the Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson, as good as they are.
Well, see, the difference between Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson and Jalen is Jalen's lower body is a lot bigger. Jalen squats about 700 pounds. He's really got the lower body of a running back. And so, you know what I'm saying? And that makes a difference, man. Now,
it makes all the difference.
Now, of course, they're not gonna let him run as much next year as they did this year because they need him healthy. They need the band director healthy, man. So they're not gonna let him run as much as whatever. But he's not gonna need to. But now let's talk about that first game, Eagles versus the 49ers. Now, I will say this to you, my brother Glenn. Let me tell people about me and my homeboy Glenn. We go back, we go way back to Pee Wee basketball and skipping church together, man. We go way back to potty training together. So this is my boy.
Way back. Hey, don't tell people how old I am.
Man, my mom was authorized and licensed to whoop his ass, and his was licensed to whoop my ass.
We'll get you too.
That's how far we go back. But hey, man, the first game today, the Eagles came out and they set the tone. They said, "Okay, Brock, no more driving the bus, baby. You're gonna have to step up and have the game of your life because when the Eagles went down and scored that first touchdown, they made the 49ers had to say, okay, we're gonna have to score for these guys." But when Purdy got hurt, I knew then. I said, well, I thought their defense would be good enough to kind of at least keep the game close. When they brought in Johnson, see, Johnson was terrible because we had him for a minute. And, man, I was like, oh, this game is over. And
it's over.
When he did that self-fumble on your own 30-yard line, I was like, oh, Jesus, man. Yeah.
He was nervous. Yeah, he was nervous. Had never been in a big – man, when you're in a big game like that, everything changes.
But here's the thing about him.
He was nervous.
But Glenn, he is a 13-year veteran. But he
had never been that far though. A 13-year bench warmer. He's a 13-year bench warmer. That's what he is. Yeah, that's just like not having no kind of experience.
But man,
he's a 13-year rookie.
But I can put you back there and you'll catch the ball when we hiking it to you. Hell, all you gotta do is hike the ball. It's not like if he would threw an interception, I wouldn't have felt as bad. Man, they hiking the ball to him, and how the hell you dropping the ball? Oh, you got one job.
When you got hands like feet, that's what you're going to get. That's your result.
Yeah, he definitely has hands like feet. Like, man, what are you doing? Just catch the freaking ball.
But I'm not trying to change the subject, but I was looking earlier. I seen where Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, is out with the Cowboys.
I know where you're going with this.
Hey, man. I'm just going to leave it there, man.
No, you're not, because you can't.
Man, I'm telling you, I was listening to you talking to that gentleman earlier. like you said, and you are totally 100% correct. You have a 4-year wonder
Yes.
in the NFL. Because so much free agents and different signings now. And if you don't do nothing in 4 years, it's almost about time for you to go in the rebuilding stage.
Exactly.
Because, like you said earlier, a team like Dallas, they're gonna lose a lot of players. They're gonna lose a few players, and even teams like Philadelphia probably wind up losing some players this year.
Yeah.
A guy like, believe it or not, a guy like Sue, and then you got that big Jordan Davis boy back, and then you got this other boy they signed. I forgot what his name was. It Lindell Joseph?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think so. I think it was Lindell Joseph. Yeah, man, that's a hell of a defensive. That's a hell of a combination where you can rotate 3 defensive tackles in, because all them guys got experience, and they clog up their middle man.
Yep.
And if you got 2 of them out there on the field at the same time, man, that's 600-some pounds of men right there.
Right.
It's hard to run that ball up the middle on them guys, man.
Right. But see, when you bring in guys like that, you bring them in there you make a move for one reason. That is to win the Super Bowl. And that's what the Eagles are right now. You done brought all those guys in now. If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, you're right. Those guys are not coming back next year because of age, what you got to pay them, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? So if you're the Eagles, you're like, okay, hey, here we are. Now, keep in mind, how long was it when the Eagles won their Super Bowl within the last, 4 or 5 years? Yeah, they just
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they're knocking on the door. But when I say teams like the Cowboys, the Saints, the Steelers, yeah, that window is closed, man. The Raiders,
they let my team win the close. Pittsburgh, they let their window close on them, keeping that damn quarterback around for 30 years.
Yeah, and
they could have been using that money to get some more players and things.
See, the same with Green Bay. That window done closed, man. You just got to when I say rebuild, you got to rebuild with. Probably with a get you a rookie quarterback in the rookie year, so you ain't got a lot of money wrapped up in him. So now you can build your team. You can go out and spend some money, get you some good wide receivers, defensive backs, people on the defensive side of the ball. But when you inside that window where you got a lot of good athletes and you got to pay them, they starting to get older. Now you got to pay your quarterback almost $35-40 million a year. You got to get it done. And just like I was telling Brandon, when Michael Jordan was in his heyday, when the Bulls were winning, there were other teams that were good. Portland was good.
That's right.
The Knicks were good. But you know what? That window was open for them. They didn't get it done. And you can't, because nobody's going to give you a Super Bowl. Nobody's going to give you a world championship. No. You got to take it.
No, that's something you got to earn.
You got to earn. You got to take it. And you only going to have, like I said, 3 or 4 years where everybody's getting along. Salary cap ain't no issue. Guys are younger. Coach ain't calling no dumb plays. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't get it done, brother.
Totally true.
Yeah. Just like the Cowboys, man. They fired about 4 or 5 guys today. They fired Leon Lett.
They
fired the offensive coordinator today. They did that.
They fired everybody but Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well, Jerry can't fire himself.
Jerry Jones fired everybody but himself.
Yeah. And so
I hope he stick around for the next 40 years.
So when that
I hope he live 40 years so he can stick around and keep doing what he's doing. Dak Prescott.
They got to get it done, man. They got to get it done.
But I want to get back with what I was telling people. Get back what I was saying earlier. Back to Jalen Hurts. Man, that guy is a bona fide winner.
He is.
Man, this guy has different offensive coordinator from the time he was in high school all the way up to his second year. Really, Jalen Hurts, it's really just his second year in the league. Because he wasn't there, what Carson Wentz. He took Carson Wentz's spot. And this man, when he was at Oklahoma, this man passed for over 3,000 some yards, finishing the top 3 in the Heisman.
Now, but let me say this.
He's just a winner, man. He's a winner.
Well, let me say this too.
Yeah,
Let me say this. One of the reasons that Jalen can adapt and change like that is because he's the son of a coach. So
He's a son of a coach.
he's a son of a coach. So Jalen probably can draw up offensive plays and stuff like that because he's a coach's son. He's been around football probably when he first started walking. So he's been, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He knows.
And then you play for Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Then you go and play for, you go and play for a guy like Nick Saban. A lot of people forget whether they said Jalen Hurts won a national championship. He played in the national championship every year. He was at Alabama, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He played. He won. He was in the champ. Even though he lost his job, but he still was on that team.
But I will tell you, Alabama didn't really. They really didn't develop him. Because Nick was still wrapped up in that old, he started to develop as a passer when he went to Oklahoma. Now, on the problem,
you're totally right.
Yeah. Now they started because when he was in Oklahoma at Alabama, hell, they wouldn't even let him throw the ball as much because that was just the offense. They had all those. Remember, they had Najee Harris and all. It's like, okay, man, you just throw a little old 5-yard pass and these cats here. But when he went to Oklahoma, where he had to be able to throw from the spread and whatever, that really developed him. I'm like, hey, I didn't know he could throw it. But now, he's just. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I totally agree with you. And not only that, he worked on his game.
Yeah, and see,
he worked on his game, and he strictly worked. You could tell he worked on his game. So, he went from.
His dad said he could pass the ball. He said he can throw. He said it was just Alabama's offense that they ran.
Right, the system.
Mm-hmm.
The system. Yeah, but you got them guys, the more guys on Sports Center. They ain't number game change. They change. They switch team like they switch balls. They used to watch. They be on the bandwagon tomorrow. Stephen A. Smith, all of them. They talk about the man, Booger McFarland. I mean, it's this old saying, just because you're rich don't make you smart.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Some guys don't. They just got good jobs. They don't know no more about sports than me and you.
I know. When
you tell me something about sports, I believe you. We know the game.
I know a lot of rich. I know a lot of rich idiots. I know a lot of rich idiots.
That's right. And we had one for. Well, I better not say that because they talk politics on the radio. But correct. I totally agree.
But yeah,
I totally agree with you.
But like I said, when I think of Jalen Hurts, man, like I said, he has a rare quality that has the ability to lead men. And when you get into the Super Bowl, when you get into that big game, yeah, you got all that stuff leading up to the Super Bowl. You got all the hangout and da-da-da-da-da. But sooner or later, it's your team against the other team. And when you guys inside that line, it comes down to that one particular play. Really, the Super Bowl is about you not losing the game. If you come out and you play like you speak, because it's always going to come to that one play, that one turnover, that one injury or something.
That's right. But I'm going to tell you this here. I do not see Jones and whatever them guys named from Kansas City. I don't see them pushing that offensive out. See, Cincinnati had 3 offensive starters out on the offensive line.
Right.
And that makes a lot of difference, too. Because they were playing a second unit on it. They're not going to push Jones and them guys from Kansas City. They're not going to push the Eagles' offensive line around. Eagles got all pro all across that line.
Well, I was never sold on Cincinnati because I just remember how when they played against the Cowboys and they just crapped in the bed, man. I like, you know what? And I was never sold on Cincinnati. To me, I was like, you know what? Yeah, they had a good game against the Bills, but the Bills wasn't all that easy. It wasn't in when they played the Eagles. I think the advantage the Eagles have on them is that the Eagles are a complete team on offense and defensive side. The Kansas City got an explosive offense, but the Eagles can match them too because the Eagles have an explosive offense, and I think that Kansas City defense is not that good. So
that's what they're gonna lose. The defense. See, the Eagles defense I'm not gonna say they're gonna stop Kansas City or just totally shut them down. But in and out of the game, they might contain them a little. But I don't see Kansas City defense to stop the Eagles if they're clicking.
I don't.
But like there's pressure and go ahead.
I don't think if I had to kind of figure how the game's gonna go, I think the Eagles run game is gonna dominate the game. So it's not a matter that they're gonna have to stop Kansas City. I just think they're gonna have the ball to most of the game.
They're gonna have the ball.
Yeah,
but man, because I didn't think they were gonna run on. Did not. Me personally, I did not think. I thought Jalen Hurts was gonna have to pass that ball to beat the 49ers today. That's what I was thinking to myself. Man, he's gonna have to at least pass about 200 or 225, 250 yards to have a chance with the 49ers. They got a hell of a running game. I don't know how they do it, but they come from that offensive line, though.
Well, they got the best offensive line in the game. The Eagles do.
That's true.
they got the best offense. See, it all depends on what your offensive line is, because you got a lot of defense that look real good, but they playing against teams whose offensive line is not that great. But when those guys go up against a good offensive line, you see what's what.
I totally agree. But the first thing they're gonna be talking about tomorrow, the first time in Super Bowl history, you have two black quarterbacks.
True that.
If I'm not correct. If I'm not, is that true? I think it's gonna be the first time in NFL history you're gonna have two starting black quarterbacks.
I think you might be right, because I don't remember two brothers that were squaring off against each other.
No, I ain't know. There's too many black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
I don't remember. I don't remember two black quarterbacks playing against each other in the Super Bowl. It may be the first.
Yeah.
Now
either way, go ahead. What you been say?
I can tell you a guy that got a raw deal, man, is Steve Wilkes, who was the interim for the Panthers.
That's totally wrong, man.
Because you got Frank Wright, who loses his job. This guy loses his job in the middle of the season. He get fired, and then he gets a job over the interim who took over the job, and almost had those guys in the playoff. Yeah, like, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the same way with Arizona Cardinals coach Cliff Klingberry. Hell, they win about 6 or 7 damn games in 3 seasons at Texas Tech. Get fired there. Hire him as an offensive coordinator. 6 months later, he with the Cardinals. Now they fire his ass. Hell, he ain't nowhere to be found. He overseas or what implication. Ain't one for damn. But see, that's how they take care of him. They knew he wasn't one for damn when they hired him. But it must be somebody in that organization that must be his buddy or something. Because he ain't never been no hell of a coach. He was at Texas Tech, ain't did shit. the further they ever come was in 5th place.
I know.
And then you go and fire that man, then hire him as a head coach. That's why I ain't never pulled for the Cardinals.
But I just know
I ain't never want the Cardinals win.
But I just know Frank Wright got fired in this exact season. And then he gets the job.
He had 3 different quarterbacks.
I like, man, come on.
He not having stepson that back there look like trying to quarterback. It's about he's a quarterback coach. And how the hell you a quarterback coach and you don't had 3 quarterbacks and you can't figure out which one to play?
So,
and then, like you said, they fire you and then gonna hire you. Man, that's but that's the world we live in. Man.
I'm like, man, I don't understand that one, man.
That's why I'm scared of this Super Bowl, man. I'm kind of scared of this Super Bowl because I know it's gonna be a good Super Bowl, but man, these last 2 or 3 Super Bowls they wasn't hitting on nothing to me though, man. Made me feel funny about it.
I know, man.
Me look at the Super Bowl different, kind of.
I'm hoping that, but I'll be honest with you. I'm hoping it be different, but I just got a strange feeling, man, that the Eagles gonna just beat the hell out of the Eagles. Gonna beat the hell out of.
I didn't want to tell you that they're like that. I didn't want to tell you like that because I didn't want to upset some of the fans on your talk show.
Man.
But I'm gonna go on and tell you, they finna beat the shit out of Kansas City. They They gonna beat the hell out of Kansas City. You think Patrick Mahomes ankle, and when they whoop his ass, first thing they go all about his ankle. They ain't got a damn thing to do with it.
I think they're gonna beat the hell out of Kansas City. To be honest with you, I just
man, they gonna whoop them like they stole something.
Because I just think the Eagles gonna have 2 weeks to get healthy, and I think they just going to. I think they just gonna do the Kansas City like when we beat the Eagles. We kept the ball, we ran it down their throat. we just cannot, and I think that's what they gonna do to Kansas City, because Kansas City is not a great defensive team. They average, but their offense kind of sets the tone. But I would tell you this about their offense. It's not like it was when they had the Cheetah and them. They're not that explosive now. You can shut down Kelsey.
All their wide receivers hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They all got hurt today.
Wide receivers is hurt.
Yeah. But
I want to say this here before you go off the show. I know you're going to get ready to probably go off. I want to say this.
Go for it.
I don't give a damn who wins. I'm just glad them damn Cowboys out there storming going. Ooh, boy, you just don't know how I feel when I went to work a week ago, last Monday. You just don't know how I feel. To wake up in the morning, you ought to see the people down here how they look like they lost their best dog. Like their best dog died. Look like they lost the dog Blue. Look like they lost Blue. Look like Blue died on them. I was just so happy for them. I didn't know what to do. I was just so happy.
Yeah, well, they fired the offensive coordinator today, man, and so I guess they.
Yeah, I heard they fired him, but I didn't see that. You know what? That kind of shocked to me, though. But man, dude wasn't no hell of an offensive coordinator in the first place.
No, he wasn't.
They fired him.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. And to me, he's not ready to be. When I think of Kellen Moore, I don't think, this guy, he could be an excellent coach. Nah. Now, he might be a good college coach.
But I will say this about him. Yeah, there you go. He might be a good college coach. But I will say this about him, though. He was a hell of a quarterback in college.
Oh, yeah.
He was a hell of a quarterback in college.
Yeah, he was.
He was tough as nails, man.
Yeah, he was.
But just because you be good, and that don't make you a good coach sometimes.
No, sir.
But I will say DeMeco Ryan, I think the defense coordinator from the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
I see him where he's the number one candidate for the head coaching job for the Texans.
Right.
I hope he gets that job. I hope he gets that job. They need more black coaches in the NFL.
Yeah,
I pray he gets that job.
I think he's overdue to get that job. And I heard that I'm trying to think of who's the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. What's his name?
Big Bieniemy.
Yeah, I heard that he's being interviewed for the offensive coordinator for my team. But I'm hoping that might be one of them deals where we bring him in and then can Rivera, so he can be the coach.
Rivera ain't one for damn, man. If y'all had any other coach beside him,
yeah. So we can have
y'all need a coach to the quarterback.
Yeah, so he can be a coach and an offensive coordinator and kind of get some stuff going. But Glenn, my homeboy, you're about to hear the sound of my music, brother, and I am finna wrap it and cap it. For all those who listen today, I would like to thank my homeboy Glenn, who I still got on the phone. Bridget in H-Town. Got to talk to Brandon from D1 England University. Jay in the great state of Texas. And my boy Chris, the world famous cowboy lover. I'd like to thank all my family and friends in the booth, all the country Kennys, and all those who listen to my show in Grand Prairie, Arlington, and all over the place, even in the great state of Virginia, along with those in Mario, England. And I would like to also thank all those who listen to the show and like us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you like us, cool. If you don't, say, hey, we can't stand the show. But I also want to thank all those on the yard. Y'all stay golden, baby. See you next week.